You're going to talk with Mike Meredith. He's going to talk about having your head up your butt and how it'll get you killed. Woo!
Afternoon, welcome to Blade Wise. This is installment number 7 in the series. I really feel like in a lot of ways it should be one in a whole different series, because we're going to get into talking about some stuff today that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. First of all, before we get into that, I want to tell everybody that's waiting on a knife from me that they shall have it shortly. I just recently had to get a new motor for my belt grinder. I got a 2-horse with a VFD, which is going to help me put out a whole lot more knives. The winter's kind of kept me held back since my forge is outside. Today is May the 12th, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially my mom, who is a wonderful mom and has helped me every way she possibly can. And it's, like I said, May the 12th, and I'm out here wearing long sleeves, so we've had a little bit of a cool snap, but that's not going to stop us from doing what we do. Here lately, Jenny and I have been getting into the business a little bit deeper. We started a concealed carry leather business for everybody, but we're focusing a lot of it on women. And I'll be talking more about that later on. But check it out. We've got a like page on Facebook for it already. It's a Genuine Varmint Leather Company. I'm sure she'll put the address at the bottom of the screen for the page, so you can check it out there. Go on there and like us. Like both of our pages, Booger Woods Forge too, because we have contests from time to time that you can win, and you get free stuff from us, and that's always good. Jenny and I both, and I really have to thank her from the bottom of my heart, because, well, right now she's standing behind that camera when she has other things that she could be doing. And but she, like myself, and that's one of the many reasons that I love her, is really dedicated to helping people out, to saving lives, to doing the necessary things that has to be done to make sure that if you walk into a bad situation, that you can prevail in it, that you go home to your kids and your family, and that you're still able to enjoy everything that you enjoy in life, and that something like a robbery or a rape or a murder won't get you down. We can teach you how to take this simple marker and use it as a weapon, or this flashlight. We can teach you how to disable somebody without killing them with that knife. That's one thing that I love about martial bladecraft. You don't necessarily have to kill your opponent. A knife can be a less than lethal weapon. All it takes is a simple knowledge of anatomy and where and how to cut. We can teach you how to fire this firearm and how to carry it and all sorts of other stuff. I never claimed to be no redneck ninja. I think that martial arts is a good thing for people that want to get into it, but it's not always your best option for self-defense, because most martial arts schools teach everybody to fight the same way. And when you fight against someone, you're fighting someone that's trained in the same discipline as you. And in the real world, that doesn't always work. So if you're going to use martial arts as a self-defense tool, make sure that it's reality-based. And we'll talk about all and more of that later on. Some people tell me, and they tell Jenny, y'all are paranoid, carrying weapons, focusing all this emphasis on self-protection, self-preservation, that you'll probably never need to know. Well, I pray to God that I'll never need my seatbelt. I pray that I never need my fire extinguisher, an airbag, stuff like that. But really, in the real world, when you need something like that, nothing takes the place of it. So it's good to be prepared. However, there is nothing that we can teach you or train you to do that is going to help you out any at all if you don't do this first simple thing that I want to talk to you about today. And I don't mean to be offensive to anybody with my choice of language, but really and truly it is this bad. Pull your head out of your ass. For the people that say, well, you're paranoid and all this sort of stuff, tell that to the over 14,500 people in the year 2010 that were murdered. Tell that to the nearly 368,000 people during the same year that were victims of robberies. Tell that to the nearly 85,000 women, and men probably too, that were raped during the year 2010. That's an FBI statistic. And there are certain people that will tell you, well, you're much more likely to be hurt with your own weapon. That's a bunch of crap. Whoever told you that has never studied the American Journal of Criminal Law, their study that they did, I think in the same year, that says that you stand a way greater chance of surviving if you arm yourself. Keep in mind, whatever you arm yourself with, you're going to have to train with. Just because you own a fiddle don't make you Charlie Daniels. So learn, train, study, and most importantly, pull your head out of your ass. And the reason that I'm emphasizing that today, Colonel Jeff Cooper come up with a color code system that y'all can look up. White being oblivious, yellow being alert with a broad spectrum of focus, orange meaning your focus is narrowed. That guy over by that truck there wearing the hoodie looking suspicious could be a threat if I get closer. And then red, ready to fight. You may not actually be fighting, but you're ready to do it. You're ready to swing into action. If he were still alive today, I think that if I was to run it by him that there's also a condition brown now, he would probably agree. Because ever since smartphones come about, and iPads, and all these other electronic devices that enable you to be on the internet while you're shopping, while you're going to your vehicle, while you're eating lunch, while you're doing all this other stuff, ever since those devices come about, I've noticed this really annoying trend of people being on them all the damn time. And like for instance, here a couple months ago, Jenny was inside at the local Walmart, and she was at the pharmacy, and I called her from the parking lot. I'd left the shop, got done working, and I asked her, I said, where are you at? She said, I'm in the pharmacy. I said, all right, I'll meet you there. So I get out of the truck, and this rather large lady comes stumbling through, narrowly being missed by a vehicle, and she walks straight into me. And I mean, I'm watching this happen. I'm setting it up for her. I'm thinking, if I just stand right here, I wonder if she'll even notice I'm here. Not only did she bump into me, she bumped into me rather hard, because like I said, she was a big old thing. And she didn't even acknowledge that I was a living human being. She didn't say sorry. She didn't say anything. She just looked at me like, wow, and went on about her path, still texting. Had I been somebody that had less than noble intentions, and believe me, they hang out in parking lots waiting for you as a victim, that could have been her last day. It really could, and it could have been anybody's last day that goes about so situationally unaware. Get in the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, and act. Otherwise, nothing can save you if you are not aware that there's even a problem. Please, I mean, I'll never beg nobody to do anything hardly, but I am begging you. Don't promote that type of lifestyle. And it doesn't matter. Let's say, for instance, that we actually are paranoid and there's just no reason for us to be concerned about our personal safety as far as rape, robbing, mugging, murders. Well, that's great. The best fight you'll ever have is one that you don't have to get in, and I advocate that. If you're unarmed, you really need to be aware, because the whole feet don't fail me now plan is all you've got. And then you might want to be using that cell phone to call 911 before somebody finds you and has to call them for you. But traffic accidents, I mean, you don't have to search the internet too awful hard to see some bonehead with their head firmly clutched between their ass cheeks on that phone, texting, doing something stupid, causing a traffic accident, walking into a fountain in a mall. For God's sake, there was even a guy that walked into a bear that was running loose in a neighborhood, or like David Crockett would say, a guy walks into a bar. I mean, how much big and obvious does a threat have to be bigger than a bear to get you to notice it? if you go into your local emergency room, local funeral home, there are so many people that are in there. You're going to find the majority of them. Some of them just natural diseases and accidents and sicknesses, but a staggering number of them are there because they wasn't paying attention. The world that I've lived in most of my life, I've had jobs to where I could not be in any condition besides yellow. I've been a musician in clubs where fights happen all the time. I've been a bouncer in those clubs. I have worked armed security at large events where that anything could happen at any given time because other people there know you're guarding a large amount of money. The profession I have now, making knives, you don't want to have your head in your ass while you're operating a machine, while you're trying to forge a piece of steel. So it kind of comes natural for me, as it does with Jennifer. She's former military, had a lot of experience in and about the world. She knows to be aware of her surroundings. We teach our kids that way. You know, you don't get to pick the day that something's going to happen to you. You rarely get a certified letter telling you that you're going to be mugged, raped, robbed, killed this day. Pay attention. Pull your head out of your ass, be on your phone at appropriate times, and put the thing away when you're in a situation that you might get hurt. If you do choose to be a victim, don't make somebody else a victim of your stupidity. Don't cause a traffic accident. Don't do stupid shit, basically. From this point, later on in the series, we'll be working on stuff that's going to tell you what to do in these situations. I'm going to be pointing you toward other people who can train you and train you well with your selected means of self-defense. Another thing I'm going to be focusing on is the elderly and the less abled. If you are elderly or you're physically disabled, you are 1.5 times more likely to become the victim of a violent crime than someone who is able-bodied. That speaks to the minds of criminals that they don't really care. They're looking for a victim, and they don't have any sense of fair play. Get that out of your head. There are no fair fights. Until next time, be safe, be sharp, and keep your head out of your ass.